this valedictory is titled The Undying Light, A Personal History of Independent India, which is, of course, the title of a book by Sri Gopalkrishna Gandhi, which, of course, will be available at the book point for those of you who are interested in getting it signed by Professor Gopalkrishna Gandhi. Professor Gopalkrishna Gandhi is a former administrator and diplomat and has studied English literature at St. Stephen's College, Delhi. He has translated the Tirukkural from Tamil into English and Vikram Seth's novel, A Suitable Boy, into Hindi as Koi Achha Sa Ladka. He has also authored a novel, Refugee, and a play in English verse, Dara Shako. He is currently a distinguished professor at Ashoka University. And in conversation with him, we have Bakhtiar Dadabhoy. Many of you probably are also aware that Bakhtiar lives in Hyderabad. He's a Hyderabadi, or rather Secondrabadi, and he's very much part of the twin cities of Hyderabad and Secondrabad. Bakhtiar Dadabhoy is the author of 10 books, including J, A Life of J.R.D. Tata, Sugar in Milk, Lives of Eminent Parsis, Barons of Banking. Then he also has a book on Zubin Mehta, and then he has books on Homi Bhabha. Basically, he's a biographer, and he has done some fantastic biographies. He has also written the script for Nani the Crusader, a documentary on the legal luminary Nani Palkiwala. In 2024, he became the first non-scientist to deliver the annual Dr. K.S. Krishnan Memorial Lecture on the 125th birth anniversary of the physicist at National Physical Laboratory, NPL, New Delhi. So, Bakhtiar, over to you for the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Vijay Kumar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome and a very happy Republic Day to you all and to our distinguished guest, Mr. Gandhi. Civil servant, diplomat, erudite, author, governor. Mr. Gandhi is one of India's most distinguished public intellectuals. He also has the added advantage of impeccable pedigree. Not only is he Mahatma Gandhi's grandson, on the distaff side, he is also Rajaji's grandson. Had the stars aligned more propitiously in 2017, he would have been India's vice president. But today we meet him in the avatar as an author, the author of a riveting account, a magisterial personal account of seminal events in the country from independence to the present day. I have read this account marveling not only at the very interesting life that he has led, but also his felicity of expression, using the English language as he does, with the devotion of a lover, the accuracy of a scholar, the eye of the novelist, and the ear of the poet. Welcome, Mr. Gandhi, to this session. It's a privilege to be in conversation with you here today.
Well, thank you very much. Let me start with the usual question, am I audible? And let me say that once when I asked this question, I imagined the answer was, you are audible. Unfortunately, you are audible. But I just want to say this. Many introductions have been given about me, but I wish none of them was there for me except for one which I am now wishing was my introduction. I wish I was sitting amongst all of you and not sitting on the dais. I would have enjoyed this session without this gentleman intruding on us from the stage. Having said that, I must also say something and then leave the floor to Bakhtiar. My surname is the result of an accident of birth. I have no role in the assumption of that surname. But Bakhtiar Dadabhoy is not related to the great Dadabhai Nauroji.
Unfortunately.
But Bakhtiar is an intellectual legatee of Dadabhai Nauroji. He has a claim to the name Dadabhai, which is intellectual and conceptual and real. My claim to my surname is a total accident. But it is the one thing that has brought me to this stage. Do you think any of you would have been here to listen to somebody? There have been umpteen governors, several diplomats, IAS officers without count, many of them 100 million times more deserving of your time than I. The
Now, that's a
only reason why you are here is because of what was gently said. And when Bakhtiar used the word pedigree, I thought pedigree is best used for certain kinds of pets.
Now, that's a Socratic preface of ironic modesty, if ever there was one. But shall we start? Okay, so Mr. Gandhi, can you tell us something about the genesis of the book? You say that David R. reached out to you?
Well, the genesis of the book is entirely the work of the publisher, David Davidar. He sent me a wonderful book on Ireland, written by Fintan O'Toole. It is called Independent Ireland, A History of Independent Ireland. And he asked me, can I do a similar history of independent India from your point of view? So I am no historian, but I have some flashes of memories. Flashes is all I would call them, which are of independent India and maybe of some passing interest. And because there were a lot of documents, archives, and photographs all around me, which I grew up with, and that's how this book arose. It's more about independent India than about myself.
Mr. Gandhi, you were very young when the Mahatma died, but your maternal grandfather, Rajaji, was what you call an abiding and important influence on you, with all accompanying fascinations and frustrations.
That's true, that's how it was. Gandhi belongs to a very large and larger constituency than his own family. He was very, very fond of his family, but he belonged to a much larger constituency. But Rajagopalachari, who is my mother's father, my Nanu, as I like to think of him, or Anna, as I called him in Tamil, was the most abiding influence on me, both as a person who headed the family and as a personality who shaped the destinies of the early years of India's independence, both when he was in office and more so when he was in the opposition, setting up the Swatantra Party. Would you believe it, at age 81? I'm 80 and I need help to get up these stairs. But at 81, Rajaji founded the Swatantra Party, and the election after that got him the largest number of seats in the Lok Sabha that any party had at that time. So he was democracy's conscience in those years.
It was a disappointment for the family when Rajendra Prasad became president and not Rajaji. The party was keen on Rajendra Prasad and he himself wanted to be president. And Sardar Patel also put his weight behind Rajendra Prasad.
Well, today is Republic Day, and on this day in 1950, India found its first president, the extraordinarily dignified and highly deserving, distinguished Rajendra Prasad. But you can't hear me. You can't hear me. So, well, now can you hear me better? So this day in 1950, when India became a republic, Rajagopalachari left his office in Delhi. He was the first and last Indian Governor General of India. Nehru wanted him to be the first president, but the party was not for him. Why is another matter. And Rajagopalachari was human enough to feel that he might have made not a bad president. But when he learnt of Rajendra Prasad's interest in that office, and Rajendra Prasad's deserving of that office was patent, without a backward glance, Rajagopalachari left Delhi, wishing his successor every luck, wishing India every luck, and saying at the farewell meeting, at the farewell dinner, India is safe, for it has in Nehru a person who enjoys universal love, and in Patel a person who enjoys universal confidence. And he said, in Rajendra Prasad, India has found a wonderful president. And he flew out of Delhi to a very small home, just 3 rooms, I think, no staff, not to talk of liveried staff, just his daughter to look after him. That is what true civility is about. You can step into the highest office with confidence and demit it without rancor, with grace, and wishing your successor luck.
In this connection, I'd like to read out what Mr. Rajmohan Gandhi wrote. He says, Rajaji knew disappointment and dejection, but had philosophy enough to smile both at his entry into Government House and his exit from it. I think no one could have put it better. Mr. Gandhi, Pandit Nehru was a friend of your father, and there was periodic social interaction. There's one very amusing anecdote which you narrate about how Pandit Nehru asked you as to what games you played, and your response and his subsequent response. Can you just share that with us?
Well, he was visiting Rajagopalachari when Rajagopalachari was staying with us in Delhi, and there was a very ramshackle lift, not like one of these wonderful lifts in this place, which are so super smooth. You can come near the lift and it opens. You press a bell and it opens. You don't know and it shuts. But this was a ramshackle. And I was accompanying Nehru up on that lift. He looked at me. I was round and chubby, much more than I am even now. And he looked at me very disapprovingly and said, "Kuch khel vel khelte bhi ho?" So I said, "Kya khel khelte ho?" And I have to say, I bluffed. Football. Then he jabbed my tummy and said, "Tum khud football lagte ho." You know, that was a time when laughter had innocence to it. People laughed with each other. Now we laugh at somebody else. This is a difference. The anatomy of laughter has changed.
Yes. When Rajaji formed the Swatantra Party in 1959, due to Nehru's leftward tilt and the Congress becoming a one-man party, how did Nehru respond? Did it affect personal relations between the two?
Nehru and Rajagopalachari, they were both, उनमें ज़रा अगर हिंदुस्तानी में कहना हो उनमें अदब था, अदब. They had a kind of decency to them. That was how politics was. You could disagree and you could be very civil. And on the first visit to Madras after the Swatantra Party was formed, and Rajaji had lit into Nehru and said, Congress is turning left, Nehru has become a dictator. He had said very harsh words about Nehru. And comes Nehru to Marina, and I was there in the sands listening. And Nehru said, he spoke in English, and it was translated into Tamil. He said, I put it to Rajaji. I put it to Rajaji. Sometimes, sir, Rajaji, please, will you agree? Sometimes you may be wrong and I may be right. How wonderful it is. Sometimes you may be wrong and I may be right. But today, you are always wrong. I am always right. I am right, you are wrong. But there was occasions also when they exchanged harsh words. But shall we say when they differed and when they spoke harshly, they used the vocabulary of tehzeeb, of courtesy, not the vocabulary of acidity. They used words. They did not use words which hid hate and spite.
Your brother Ramchandra Gandhi was a philosopher and a cricket fan. And you write about his explanation of a photo of Ramakrishna Paramhans, a somewhat inscrutable gesture with his fingers. And Ramu said he was bowling a googly. Seeing what you see is not real. He had a sense of humor.
We have moved generations, and I'm glad we are moving generations. We shouldn't be stuck with Rajaji, Gandhiji, Nehruji, several Gs. Here was Ramu, as we called him. He liked spinning. He was a spinner himself in cricket. And he was a philosopher, and there's this amazing photograph of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. It's a studio photograph. And Sri Ramakrishna, he's just doing this. And Ramu said to me, I had no cricket in me, no sports. But I knew the greatness of Sri Ramakrishna. And I said, no, I can't understand. He said, don't you see? He's about to spin the greatest googly. I said, Ramu, I don't quite know, but I know what you mean. And Sri Ramakrishna's googly was this. The real is not what you see, but the real is what you feel and what you are.
The 1962 debacle with China, which broke Nehru and led to V.K. Krishna Menon's exit, you say that you too celebrated his departure, but also say that the collective hound hunt became a form of political cannibalism. Surely you agreed that he needed to go.
You see, this question and answer mode is extremely unfair to the person who is being questioned. Bakhtiar has had a lot of time to write question after question. He's moving from one to the other, from Sri Ramakrishna to Krishna Menon. Now, I have to adjust.
But that's because I'm trying to to entertain the audience with your full book.
But Bakhtiar, let me surprise you.
Okay.
Since I was talking of Sri Ramakrishna's gesture, and you suddenly popped Krishna Menon on me, let me say that my first impression of the great V.K. Krishna Menon is when he came to my college, St. Stephen's College, and he spoke with his gestures. Krishna Menon was from Kerala, which is the home of Kathakali, and Krishna Menon's fiery eyes and fantastic hands. And you know what he said? Preamble. And my wife, who's somewhere here, tells me, we have to use hands in India. We must use gestures. We are not English people who speak like this. So Krishna Menon spoke with his hands. And he said, preamble. Our preamble has everything borrowed from France, Ireland. It has liberty, equality, fraternity. But above all that, it has justice. I can never forget that. If Krishna Menon had not used the Kathakali gestures, justice. I now know how important justice is. And that's because of Krishna Menon. And then he said, to answering a question, I was born on the coast of Kerala, somewhere near where Vasco da Gama landed, and where he thought he could pick up tufted priests from their knots like this. But the tufted priest showed him out. Krishna Menon. We are lucky to have had Krishna Menon. And I can say this, quoting President Venkatraman, He may have had whatever he had to do with our debacle in 1962, but he was not alone. But if in 1965, India showed Pakistan what India was in terms of defense preparedness, it is because of what Krishna Menon had done to strengthen the defense industries of India between the 60s and 65. The 65 victory is to be attributed to a large measure to Krishna Menon's defense ministry.
Mr. Gandhi, we now come to your personal career.
Ayyo.
You're okay with that? That's one of the chapters in the book. For those of you who want to read it, Ayyo is one of the chapters in the book.
That's the most, that is the one Tamil phrase which has in it all the tints of the sky and the pains of the heart. Ayyo.
So your first job was with the Hindustan Times, and you were hired, your father's newspaper, you were hired by Mr.
He
Mulgaonkar.
wants you to speak up.
Yeah, your first job was with the Hindustan Times, and you were hired by Mr. Mulgaonkar, who had taken your father's place. You never thought of being a journalist, and what made you opt for the IAS?
We are back to Rajaji. I wanted to be a journalist because zero initiative. I thought my father was a journalist, his father was a journalist, my mother's father was a journalist, so let me be a journalist. And Mulgaonkar, the editor in this time, very generous. He offered me this very simple, very small position in the weekend review, which is what he had started in the Hindustan Times. And when Rajaji heard that, he said, I think in his mind he must have said, Ayyo. But then he looked at me and said, look, journalism is about writing and reporting. What do you know of India? Before you write about India, you should know something about it. So I would suggest you do the law, then you'll get to know all the aspects, including the seamy sides of life in India. And if you are in Chennai, in Madras, when I am there, you'll have a good job, you'll have good briefs. But I think you should join the civil services. First of all, if you join the civil services, you'll have to go through a competition and you'll know where you stand, how low or high. And you'll get to know life. And later on, if you want to shift to journalism, do so. But first, understand life. Gopu, as he called me, get to know life.
Your IAS interview, you say, lasted only 15 minutes and was not what you thought it should have been. They asked you something called about Babbitry, which you didn't know about. And then it was your grandfather, Rajaji, who told you what Babbitry meant.
He should have attended the interview instead of me. He would have stood first. But, well, there was the written exam where I, to my surprise, did decently well, including in the English language paper, in which I did little more than decently well. But the interview, my God, I get the creeps even now when I think of it. Total disaster. Total disaster. Luckily for me, there was a lady from the Northeast, Mrs. Kongman, a great lady, whom I got to know off later. There was a map of India behind us, and she said, can you point out Kohima on the map? Luckily for me, my finger went straight, and I think that is what saved me. But I was out in 15 minutes. When I told Rajaji that I was out in 15, he said, 15 minutes? Then your chances are very poor. And then I was asked, what is Babbitry? I had never heard of Babbitry. And he knew all about Babbitry. He was sitting in Kilpauk in Chennai, he knew all about Babbitry. I don't know why. He should have been where I was.
You opted for the Tamil Nadu cadre, but Mr. Morarji Desai wanted you to go to Gujarat because he said there are too few Gujaratis in the Gujarat cadre. But LP Singh, the then Home Secretary, told the Home Minister Y.B. Chavan that as the grandfather of the grandson of the century, Rajaji's request should be honored.
He was very keen that I should be in Madras, as it was then called. And Morarji, whom we knew very well in the family, was very keen that I should be in the Gujarat cadre. But the allotments to the cadres followed a very simple and very clear rule. If you were above a certain mark grade, you got the cadre you wanted. My cadre was Madras. The preference was Madras. And I got it, and I think Gujarat was lucky that it didn't get me. I can't speak for Madras and Tamil Nadu as to what it has done with me there. But I'm so grateful that I got the cadre that I wanted, because serving in Tamil Nadu has been one of the most enriching experiences of my life.
You then became, as part of your career, you became secretary to the governor, Mr. S.L. Khurana in Tamil Nadu. Then Mr. Venkatraman asked for your services and he was vice president. Tell us something about your period with him, as well as your period when Mr. K.R. Narayanan became president and you were his secretary.
Well, I don't know why Vice President then Venkatraman, after he'd seen me working for the governor, asked for me. But there I was, and when I was working with him, my main job for the Vice President was to just be with him when he was touring and visiting and addressing offices, and helping him put together his speeches. He didn't need any assistance to put together, but it saved his time. And that helped me a lot to learn about things political and things public. But R. Venkatraman has just left one tremendous image in my mind. You know, we are a superstitious people. There is this famous, extraordinary man, Ruskin Bond, who writes about ghosts. And he was asked, Mr. Bond, do you believe in ghosts? He said, I don't believe in ghosts, but I see them all the time. So like that, I can say, I don't believe in superstition, but I see superstition all the time in myself and in others. So the day before R. Venkatraman was to become President of India, the day before he was becoming President of India, the evening before he became President of India, I went to him for some minor matter, and Mrs. Venkatraman and he were, and you know, it sometimes happens. Our bulbs now, like our lifts, are very advanced. But in those days, bulbs could explode for no reason, patak. So as I entered the room, the bulb in their bedroom, patak, glass, and I said, ayyo, what a bad sign. But Mrs. Venkatraman was unmoved. RV, you know what he did? He told, wait, Gopu, wait. He went, opened a drawer, brought out a little gadget, which picked up glass splinters from the, I never knew he had that. And he was on all fours like a little kid, picking up the glass splinters. Look, this catches. For the next 5 minutes, the future President of India was picking up glass splinters. He had no superstition. It was the month of Adi, which is supposed to be bad to move into any house. But Mr. and Mrs. R. Venkatraman were pious Hindus without a touch of superstition, without a touch of superiority. They were Hindu, Brahmins, vegetarians, but no supercilious superiority. Mrs. Venkatraman, this is something my wife always reminds me. She had a wardrobe of 6 saris, all of them not Kanjivaram, not Banaras, not Lucknow, synthetic silks. She said, you know how silk is made, how Kanjivaram silks are made? Violent. She wore simple synthetic saris like a middle-class Tamil Brahmin. Janaki Venkatraman for me is as important as Ramaswamy Venkatraman.
Thank you. Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, after he came to power, enlisted the help of the 2 Aruns, Arun Singh
What a jump.
and Arun Nehru.
What a jump. Bakhtiar,
Well,
have a heart.
Your book jumps. So what can I do? So in your description of Arun Nehru, you say, portliness combined seamlessly in him with arrogance. Now he arranged for a break-in to Mr. Venkatraman's office to show how poor the security was?
You know, there is a great Hindi saying, when somebody says something not quite pleasant, say, Bhai, shubh shubh bolo. Shubh, I want to tell Bakhtiar, Arun Nehru, shubh shubh bolo.
Well, that says it all then.
No, I'll just say this. We cannot blame the Arun Nehrus of life. We have to blame ourselves. Because when somebody like Arun Nehru comes to power and uses that power to aggrandize himself and bully others, it is not he who has made him what he is, it is we who have made him what he is. By kowtowing to him, by saying, sir, 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 boss, boss, boss. The Arun Nehrus and the other bullies of the world are the creations of the people who have elected him, not they themselves so much. Yes, they are to blame. But it is we who have made them what they are.
Mr. Gandhi, why did you leave the IAS? Would you have continued in service if you were a career diplomat?
Lucky for the IAS, I think that I left it. But I left it when I had ensured that my pension was safe. There is something to be said for being a little Gujarati baniya. You see, you have to have. So once my pension was more or less safe, not full pension, but nearly full, I decided to leave. I wanted to be a teacher, which I now have become by accident. And I had other grandiose plans of going into the publishing line, which also now I have as a published author. So no loss to me at all, either monetary or professional. And I remembered what Rajaji has said, you can leave when you have learned something about life. And after having served all the governors and vice presidents and presidents of India, I think I had seen more of life, but most importantly, with the great President K.R. Narayanan. Today, if you ask any audience, not an audience of this age profile and professional profile, but a random audience, name one president of India, and without doubt they will name President Abdul Kalam instantly. And he deserves that, because he never expected to become president, became president, and there was something wonderful about him. But President K.R. Narayanan was the first student of Harold Lasky and Karl Popper, both an extraordinary diplomat who happened to be Dalit, who was the first Dalit president of India, but much more important, he was a student of Harold Lasky, who had given Lasky gave Narayanan a student. Let me take 2 minutes. Do we have 5 minutes? Are you tired of my voice already? Then I'll tell you a small story about K.R. Narayanan. K.R. Narayanan got a Tata scholarship when he was in the Times of India as a junior reporter in Bombay. Tata scholarship, huge thing. And he wanted an appointment with Gandhi before he went. He said, let me see the old man and get his, he didn't say blessings, but just see him. Don't think Gandhi was very easy to meet. He had a very protective secretariat around him which kept his time clear. Narayanan says he had to use the Harijan card to get an appointment. Anyway, he got an appointment. He was going to Bombay and then on to London. He was in Bombay, going to London. He enters Gandhi's room, and to his horror, he finds it is Gandhi's day of silence. The man's fads, I mean, his silence is good for him, bad for others. But look, it turned out just as well, because he got Gandhi's answers in writing. And those little scraps of paper are now in the museum. He asked Gandhi 2 questions. You politicians, he said this, you politicians are fond of labels, socialist, democrat, revolutionary. You yourself like labels. But please tell me, truth, untruth, I have no problem. I will go with truth. But tell me, such a real question, it is a question we face. When you are faced with two options, both of them are right, which should I take? Gandhi's answer in writing is very poor. I have written on this subject, you can look them up. My God, you are silent, okay, but do you have to be also so brief? Second question, even better. I am going to London. I will be asked in London about the Harijan question in India. Should I answer as a Harijan or should I answer as an Indian? What a question. But this time, Gandhi's answer was equal to the question. And the Ministry of External Affairs should learn from Gandhi how diplomacy works. Gandhi's answer in writing is, when abroad, ponder every word, when abroad, you will say the Harijan question is India's problem, which India will solve after you have quit India. Gandhi did not know that he was talking to a future president of India, K.R. Narayan.
Mr. Gandhi, you had at least 3 diplomatic assignments. There was South Africa, there was Sri Lanka, then there was Oslo. What was your experience with Nelson Mandela in South Africa?
Again, let me be anecdotal, not analytical.
Some water?
No. I was picking up this piece of paper, I'll pick this up. There is a practice by which every incoming diplomat reads out a speech at the credential ceremony. So I took a long speech and read it out. Mandela is standing there. I read out the whole speech, great many names in it. Finished. And Mandela spoke, Mr. High Commissioner, you have left out an important name. My heart sank. I thought I had lost my job before I had got it. In the names of great Indians supporting South Africa, you have left out one name. You have left out the name of Muhammad Ali Karim Chagla, who at the United Nations spoke up for your country, for my people. Mandela was teaching me Indian history. He was teaching me Indian history. He had 5 persons of Indian origin in his cabinet, 5 South Africans of Indian origin. And he was told by his African colleagues, Madiba as they called him, why so many Indians in your government, so out of proportion to their population? And you know what he said? The Indians in my cabinet are not out of proportion to their population. They are in proportion to their contribution to the struggle for our independence. Nelson Mandela Zindabad. India, South Africa Zindabad. 2 countries, 1 freedom. 2 countries, 1 freedom. And I'll jump like Bakhtiar jumps. Let me jump and maybe we'll finish with that.
No, I've got 2 more questions for you. I'm not going to let you off that easily.
One very quick jump. When Sheikh Mujib, the great Sheikh Mujib Bangabandhu came to Delhi on his way to take charge in Bangladesh, the new Bangladesh, there was a huge welcome in Delhi. Masses of people. And he started speaking in English. Madam Prime Minister, the audience, Hindi-speaking people from Haryana, Delhi. Bengali mein bolo. Can you imagine Delhi saying, Bengali mein bolo? And then he switched and he said, Bharater Pradhan Mantri, and the whole audience exploded. That was, and one person was holding a placard, simple Bengali. It had a sign, Delhi, Dhaka, same blood. Ganga, Padma, same flood. It was an ecological answer. It was an let us remember today, more than blood being the same, our floods are the same, our ecology are the same, our rivers are the same. The partition of India has divided our history. It cannot divide our geography. It cannot divide our civilization. It cannot divide our culture.
Okay, the second last question. You met some interesting authors in your time, Niraj Chaudhary, Salman Rushdie, and there are two nice anecdotes which I think you should share with the audience. The one with Niraj Chaudhary about when you offered him a glass of wine, and he says, "What do you mean glass of wine?"
I'm very fond of wine, let me tell you. We have to be honest, isn't it? Anybody who has the surname Gandhi has to be. As my brother Ramu was once asked, "Are you a teetotaler?" No, I'm a truth teller. I love my good wine, and I and my wife had invited Nirod Babu home for a lunch, and we offered him a. Nirod Babu, will you have some wine? Wine? What is that? You have to show me the bottle. You have to give me the name. Do you want this wine or that wine? There is no such thing as wine. What wine? Sorry, Nirod Babu. आपने देखो देखो ना आपने आप जो 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 आप चाहिए and then he followed lovely conversation. He was testing. He said, "Do you know?" In the audience today is a gentleman with whom I learned some Urdu. He's sitting here, Mahmood Alam. He will know this. Nirod Babu asked, he was testing me, he said, "Do you know the difference between be and ba in Urdu?" I said, "I think I know." "You know what is the difference be and ba?" I said, "I know." "Give me an example." So I gave him an example. So then he said, "Okay. Do you know what is the original Sanskrit for am?" I said, "Amro." "Acha, thik ache." And then he just opened his heart. And when he went back, he sent us a lovely bottle of wine. Nirod Chaudhary sent us a bottle of wine with a card. He may have been arrogant, he may have been whatever he was, but Nirod Chaudhary was a lovable human being who told me when his wife died, he said, "You know," but then he could call me by his name, Gopal. He said, "You know, Gopal, I am 90 plus. I have never seen death in my life. I saw it for the first time when she died, and she and I were alone in the house." Keyboard. Laughter and sorrow are twins. In India, they are inseparable twins. Each one of us today here is here after borrowing time, stealing time from agonies, anxieties, sorrows, to listen for a while to something that can take us away from those agonies and sorrows.
Mr. Gandhi, you will be a relieved man. The last question. Well, you've been so candid in the book, I can't resist asking this question. How much do you think that being the grandson of the century has given you a leg up in the world?
Everything. I need a hand up because I've got a leg up. Who would give me a stage if it was not for my surname? Doors have opened, potholes have closed for me because of my surname. And I'll just end with this. I said I love my wine, but I take it in very moderate doses. And I don't smoke, but I have friends who love smoking. And on one of my first visits abroad, I came back with some cigarettes and whiskey in my suitcase, all within the allowed limit. I would not have ever broken the rule. And I went to the customs. Those days, customs were very sharp. And he saw me. He saw my passport. Oh, Gandhi. So you are related? You know, when I'm asked that question, I let them complete the question because I don't know which Gandhi they're talking of. So, are you related? Are you related to Gandhiji? He took the chalk, cleared. I felt so ashamed that this box, which had been cleared because it was of a Gandhi, it contained cigarettes and whiskey, all within the normal limits. There's a lovely word in Bangla. My favorite word in Bangla is kintu. I was not breaking any law, kintu. আমার বক্স ভিতরে whiskey হলো, সিগারেট হলো, আমার নাম ভিতরে গান্ধী হলো।
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. It's been a privilege and a pleasure. I think we have time for one or two questions. Two questions, yeah. Yeah. Two questions.
Very helpful.
Okay.
Very quick question.
Yeah, yeah.
And no comment.
Just pin this on.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm hard of hearing, so the mic, my mic will have to travel.
Good evening, Mr. Gandhi. This is not really a question, it's a small anecdote. I have to mention that.
Where are you? Just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Hold
No,
it,
this-
hold it.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Good evening. This is a small anecdote which I have to mention after all the anecdotes that we got to hear. In 1945, when Gandhiji came to Kolkata, to Netaji Bhavan, my grandfather took both my mother and her sister there because Gandhiji was coming and she wanted to take his autograph. And as you know, I hope everybody else also knows, that Gandhiji used to take the 5 rupees for the Harijan Fund. And my grandfather told my mother that you have to give this 5 rupees to Gandhiji to take that autograph. And she started arguing with her father, saying, I will take the autograph, but I will not give the 5 rupees to Gandhiji. Why does Gandhiji need to take 5 rupees? And then her sister said, she's not giving, I will give it, and I'll take the autograph. And my mother said, I'm older, I will take the autograph. And finally, she went up to Gandhiji. She argued with him again and said, you give me the autograph, but I am not going to give you the 5 rupees. And Gandhiji said, you have to give me the 5 rupees. Till then, I will not give you the autograph. And this is what my grandfather told me, obviously. I heard from him, and my mother was feeling very happy that she took the autograph, but a little sad because Gandhiji, at the end, took the 5 rupees, no matter what. So she got the autograph. And so I was very happy when you gave me the autograph yesterday, and Rajmohan Gandhiji gave it earlier in 2014. Thank you.
Who should you identify the person that the. Just raise your hands and. Okay. Take these.
Son,
Wait.
Sir, namaskar. How could you manage Gujarat being a dry state? I mean, wine, every day you were fond of wine.
I have not, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I have not had to serve in Gujarat, but if I had served in Gujarat, I would not have touched a drop of alcohol. I can say that too. But I must also say that Gujarat has a sense of humor. You know, I'm told this was the case, may not be so now, but in Gujarat, if you are applying for a license to drink, you can get it, but the form is very interesting. It says, it describes the applicant as a daruda, that is a drunkard. So it says, darudano naam. And next is, darudano bapno naam. And if I had been asked, darudano bapno naam, in Gujarat, I would never have drunk a drop.
We have time for one more question. I think we should have one of the volunteers asking one. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I have read your book, I Am an Ordinary Man, and in there you've...
No, go ahead, I can hear you.
I have read your book, I Am an Ordinary Man, and you have discussed extensively about students participating in the movements against the British Raj. So, the only thing I couldn't understand was that what were the basic things that our government was doing to protect those students that were being expelled, that were being taken action against, that were being suppressed by the police itself?
Well, let me make a clarification. That book is not mine. I am not the ordinary man. I have not written the book in the first place. That book is Gandhiji's writings. It is Gandhiji's writings outside the autobiography which have been collected and put into that book. So your question has to be addressed to Gandhi, the original Gandhi, not to me.
Wait. No, sorry.
Yeah, the gentleman out there. Yeah.
So my question was, the Gandhi name could get you cleared through customs with those bottles. But we are all sorry that the same Gandhi name couldn't get you cleared through Parliament to make you the Vice President of India. And incidentally, it's a man who lives in Hyderabad who defeated you for the Vice President's post. And sir, it was your grandfather, Rajaji, who introduced prohibition. And to make money for that, he introduced sales tax, which has become a diabolic GST today. What is your opinion on that?
I cannot answer that question other than by saying that at that particular time, the sales tax was a vital need for the budget of the government of Madras, which was going to do without the revenue from liquor. And I think any economist or financial expert will say that it is better to have had a sales tax which levies on all than to have liquor revenue which leads to the breakdown of family controls, domestic violence, and the most grievous forms of alcoholism which we are aware of. I think Rajaji was being an astute sociologist and also a very good financial expert. Hats off to him for having introduced sales tax. GST is something on which he may have had his views, but the original sales tax was a lifesaver for Madras.
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. That was a very, very enjoyable, anecdotal, and erudite account of your life. And as I said before, it's been a pleasure to talk to you and a privilege for the audience. Thank you all very much.